Well, Mitchell Green is the managing partner of Lead Edge Capital and joins us now. Mitchell, we'll get on to Salesforce in a moment, but first of all, your take on NVIDIA's numbers overnight.
Pretty darn good. They're good, but I mean, as you see, Jensen saying software's not going away either. So the legacy software companies are going to work with new software. Anytime there's periods of disruption, right? You have legacy software companies or any type of companies compete with new types of incumbents. Some new companies will win. Sometimes the legacy companies get away, but let's not forget, IBM's still selling mainframes. Started in the 1950s.
Yeah, but why is that? We were just discussing the fact that they've beaten on almost every measure, and yet the share price reaction is pretty muted.
Oh, for NVIDIA, I think you've just seen that, the whisper number or the number that the buy side expects is quite high. When you have these expectations and you trade the relative valuations and overall size, I mean, it just shows that the expectations were already priced in.
Mitchell, how much, I guess, of this muted reaction was also just to do with external factors? I mean, the memory chip crunch as well, we didn't get much clarity on whether that's going to impact NVIDIA's margins, for example, if they're going to have to pay more to SK Hynix, etc. China remains an overhang as well. Were any of these issues sort of weighing on sentiment?
Without, the market's telling you that what was announced was priced in. Could they have wanted even higher, revenue acceleration for the forward quarter? You never know. And by the way, on yesterday, the day before, Workday after hours was down. After the earnings, we could have sat down and been like, oh, it's down 10%, and then Workday ended up yesterday. So how the stocks trade after hours to how they actually end up trading the next day can be anyone's guess.
Jensen Huang discussed a lot about competition in the market, and there's been a lot of talk about AMD and some of the hyperscalers making their own custom chips. Was there anything in what you've seen so far to suggest that NVIDIA's moat is under pressure?
Things always typically move slower than people think. If you had the CEOs of the largest banks on, everybody's going to be telling you, oh, we're innovating. But then if you actually go talk to their employees, they're like, they can't use ChatGPT or Claude actually at the office. And the reason is they're very concerned about security, user permissioning, all the traditional things, data, privacy. This is just going to take time. But will customers like Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan be giant customers of these things over time? Absolutely. They have incredible amounts of data. I also think it's important. I do think that a lot of people think, if JP Morgan has, I'm totally making a number up, 100,000 people in their back office, and they've spent 10, 15, 20 years training some of these people, they're not just going to bring this technology in and let all these people go. They're going to try to retrain a lot of these people on new things. And don't forget, in 1980 there were a couple million switchboard operators in the world. People are going to get retrained. They'll be doing different things, and I think what you're going to see is just AI is going to lead to a giant productivity boom over the next 5 to 20 years. It'll be as bigger than the internet. And I think that's what you hear Mark Benioff talking about. He's just like, this is crazy. We're going to benefit from this stuff.
Yeah. So as you survey the landscape, the shattered hulks of some of these stock prices over the last month or so, which are the software stocks you've been buying?
Yeah, we like vertical application software companies. So and also some horizontal software. We love a business like Procore that makes construction management software. We like Viva that makes software for the pharmaceutical industry. We love a business called Toast that makes restaurant point of sale system software. We used to be investors in it privately. We had since distributed our stock and are buying it back. We like a company called Appian. We loved a business called Clearwater Analytics, but it's being taken private by Warburg Pincus. I actually think you might start to see over the next, if prices kind of stay where they are and just stabilize, I think you kind of see a bunch of private equity funds start to engage and take privates. And what the really interesting thing will be is do a bunch of boards, say, we're sick of this nonsense. We agree with these private equity firms. Let's take it private and make a bunch of money.
Okay, Mitchell, got to leave it there. Good to see you this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us, Arjun. Thanks to you too.